Hello, my biddies. How are you today? Sorry about the delay. I was having thermostat issues. My hair is terrible today. What the heck? The heck is up with that? Because my husband was home. Blame it on him being home when he's not supposed to be. He has to work really late tonight. So maybe I'll be on later. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll take the opportunity to do some other stuff for the show. But it's all for the show. It's all for the show. I had almost all of the whole family over yesterday, all but three people. Two of them because they live an hour away, and the other one because he works second shift right now. That'll be changing next month. Yay! No more second shift. He's been doing it for at least 2 years. So it's been a while since we've been able to do a weeknight meal with him. Um, he's got a vacation coming up, and then he's going to change his job. Doesn't have a new start date for the new job. Well, he's got an end date for his current one. So that's good. Um, I just hope he doesn't have to go without work for a little while. But he's going from hourly position to a salary position, so maybe they'll work that out for him somehow. Somehow, it's all the same company, so they should be communicating with each other, but they aren't because they don't do that. The little one had requested spaghetti and meatballs, so I made way too much spaghetti and meatballs. And then he didn't eat them. It was too hot, to be honest. It was hot. The 4-year-old was cranky because he'd been woken up from a nap, and that if he's like me, that does not go well. Don't wake me up. It does not. It's not fun. Um, but they were, of course, cute. They actually did start fighting. They didn't fight all day Monday, but they started fighting last night. Um, my daughter had taken him to the beach, and they got worn out a little bit. He didn't even go to his martial arts because he wanted to take a nap. When your kid says they want to take a nap, it's probably best that they take a nap, especially for a 4 or 5-year-old. Um, so how are you? How are things going? My BFF who lives in works at Indiana University in Indiana, um, Indianapolis. I ran into a robot on campus the other day, and she's like, "I don't know what to do with this," and I'm like, "Well, you're supposed to give it pets." She said, "If it was furry, I might consider it." So furry up your robots, people. Furry up your robots so that people will pet them. We're silly. Well, of course we're silly. Anyway, I guess that's all I got. Um, so I guess we'll start with reality roundup. And only 3 minutes in, which I don't usually do. Usually have more to tell you. But anyway, um, so this is Welcome to Plathville, season 8, episode 11. Stir the pot. I might have another Plathville tomorrow. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. Um, I'd like to get over it. I'd like to have Plathville over with, so I can just give you Balin out loud and Jay and Pamela. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I know I got them out of order when I was watching them, so that might be the order we go in because that's what the order is in my notes. So Kim is still talking to the therapist at the opening. Um, Kim says she, no, that doesn't make sense. Kim says she hurt everyone. The therapist says she's taken a lot of responsibility and everyone experienced the same event, but it affects everyone differently. And that is true. Kim says she's here and can be talked to. I've never seen that, and I doubt anyone else has either. She says that she wants to set boundaries with Lydia about what she can uh, can and can't talk about publicly. That is not how boundaries work. A boundary is a something that you set for yourself, you do not set them for other people. So in this instance, if Lydia talks publicly about it, your boundary is or can be, you don't listen. You don't watch. You don't listen to it. You ignore that it happened. That way you don't get mad. Like just like you shouldn't talk to read your own social media about yourself. And I put on here, you can only set boundaries for your own behavior, not other people's behavior. The therapist says she needs to give them space to say what they need to say. She says the kids need Kim to hear them out and not walk out and abandon them again. The therapist, Dr. I forgot her name. Dr. Ty. Is it Dr. Ty? I think her name's Tyrese. Dr. Ty suggests that Kim tells it as a story to Joshua. I don't see Kim doing that. She goes on to, like give examples, and Kim just basically breaks down and says she wants a second opinion. So Kim's not going to do that. Oh, it's Dr. Cross. That's it. Dr. Cross says Kim has not forgiven herself, and the doctor has very high expectations, I must admit, which is good because your therapist should have high expectations of you. But Kim's not going to do any of this. She barely wants to be talking to somebody. All she wanted really was advice on how to bring it up in a family meeting. That's it. That's all she wanted. She doesn't really care about um about therapizing herself to get to where she can actually talk about Joshua, in my opinion. Kim immediately gets in the car and calls Lydia and invites her over to Saturday to talk about Joshua. But she has alternative motivations also. It looks like Ethan picked Tegan up to take her to the farm, but she is staying in a hotel instead of at the farm this time. Usually she stays at the farm, the family. Ethan informs her that Olivia signed the divorce papers. Most of this delay has been Ethan. He signs it, but he doesn't sign all of it, or I don't think he wanted a divorce, to be honest. He wanted Olivia to come crawling back to him. Olivia is too smart, too intelligent to do that. Then Ethan tells his lie about what Zach said. We are familiar with the lie that he says Zach said that Tegan's daughter was baggage, which is not what he said. He said Tegan shouldn't talk about her own daughter in that manner. I hope that all comes out at some point. I hope Tegan sees it. Everyone but Micah is at the farm. Even Mariah came in. Kim wants to have a family meeting. They have then have a party for Zach and Lydia's anniversary. Kim says Zach and Lydia are telling everyone how to live. I mean, isn't that kind of how he taught them? In my experience, that's how Christians are usually raised. And I think their opinion is the only opinion that counts, which is wrong. Tegan says Zach has a lot of opinions on how other people raise their kids. And yes, I can see that being extremely annoying, especially since he doesn't even have kids. But that is what this type of Christians are told to do. I'm going to have to go and get some. I can't believe I'm coughing right now. I have not coughed all day, except for right after I got up this morning. And I forgot to do the Flonase. So I'm going to go do that. I find it really ironic that everyone's mad about it. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go take some medicine. Good. Yeah, did you notice my Toy Story shorts? I got them for the boys because I thought they'd like them. They do. They like that Grandma wears Toy Story shorts. All right. That's what we have. Okay, and here we go. Kim has decided to blindside Zach and Lydia. Barry also doesn't know what this is really about. Mariah and the younger girls are not attending the meeting, they're baking cake instead for the anniversary. Kim starts the meeting by discussing the weather. She brings up the bench that Isaac made, and they say they're going to sign it by wood burning. Isaac make a point that will only be immediate family, which seems kind of unnecessary because honestly, if my in-laws were signing something of somebody that I didn't know, never met, I wouldn't sign it. Amber and Mariah are baking a cake, and Mariah doesn't cook, mind you. And they are rehashing Zach's behavior in Montana. Amber told Zach that it wasn't his place to tell everyone what he disapproves of, and they argued about it. I'm with Amber. It's not his place. Everyone is piling on Lydia for her public statements. Barry admits he's blindsided, but he's on board with it. Lydia says she wasn't aware the question was going to be asked. That's all. So I'd call it blindside, honey. Zach says Lydia hasn't had an opportunity. And Kim says she's talked about Joshua with the kid. And Lydia apologizes again and wants to do better in the future. Lydia says it's affected her entire life, and you can't just talk about the good times. And she's correct on that. Ethan addresses Zach about his critiques. Zach feels thrown under the farmhouse. He says he tries to move past decent behavior, including being called gay, but Ethan lets nothing go. Zach says in a talking head, I'm a problem for the whole family. Got it. Cool. Then he says to just shut up and not be around, which I think is what happened. And that's all I have on that for some reason. Well, I guess that is 3 pages. It seemed really short. There was not a lot going on. The next time we'll have Welcome to Plathville, episode 12. It's 3 pages, which is usually how long they are. That went really fast. Was it just me? I mean, there was a lot of back and forth that was just repeating stuff the whole episode. The Pretty sure I did that. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Yay me! I did something. I did do something that I thought I did. For once. The next one will be longer. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what it is. Because that was definitely the end of that episode. Okay, our first Reddit read is from Petty Revenge and is entitled, My Dad's Boss Has to Pay 3 New People Instead of Giving My Dad the Pay He Worked For. Yeah, that happens a lot. Context, I'm a teenager, 15, and my younger brother is 11. My family had have a good, stable life financially, but recently it got better. And we're finally able to do things we want now. My dad, 40 male, has just gone self-employed because the company he used to work for didn't pay him a good salary for what he actually does. For context, my dad is a floor layer and does little handyman jobs here and there for friends and family. His old boss will call him the good name starts with an A besides Al. Yeah, Albert, Alex, Alan. AB. We'll call him AB. AB always loved my dad because they started their floor business together. AB became the manager. My dad was always the top employee. He did so much for this company that he was going to inherit it when AB stepped down. But the thing is, every customer who called usually got my dad because he was happy to go above and beyond to make sure these folks are happy with how the final floor looked, which is smart to do that when you're running your own business. He brought in so much money to this company that he definitely deserved more than he was being paid, practically minimum wage. That's a crime. The injuries he've had while working there, from minuscule things like cutting himself to things like cutting his thumb off and electrocuting himself. So you can imagine he's entitled to the raise he eventually asked for. AB agreed to give him the raise, but he never did. My dad asked again, same thing. Dad then put it up with this until their friendship was basically falling apart because AB was always starting arguments over paying my dad. Claimed he didn't have the money to give him a raise. And yet has a gorgeous house, 2 nice cars, as well as work vans for holding carpets and stuff. And his entire family knows very well he does not need to spend all this money on things. They don't matter much. A lot of people like this, it's all for looks. Like, I know realtors that will buy a certain car because it looks good. They'll buy an expensive car. It looks good. It makes them look successful. It doesn't mean they are successful. They can live in a normal house, sell one of the cars, and be at peace, but no. Well, I mean, can they sell one of the cars? Usually not. No, AB wants to refuse to giving him a raise to his best employee, so my dad recently put in his 2-week notice. AB then started begging my dad not to leave them to no avail. He offered to pay a pay raise like my dad asked for. Well, you haven't given me one in the past, so why would you now? No, we're not doing that. My dad declined. He'd been setting this up for a while. My mom and I helped him build his business from the ground. I work with him on my days off. And I'm not going to be doing it for work experience too. I'm planning to work with him after I'm out of school too. My dad now gets the pay he deserves and still makes people happy with their floors or anything else he's hired for handyman wise. I posted on a TikTok account to help with advertising. So he's never short of jobs. Right now he's got 3 weeks of work booked ahead. If your word of mouth is good, if you advertise even a little bit, sometimes it helps. My son can't do the stuff he needs to do in my house that he agreed to do a long time ago because he's too busy, which I love, and I'm not complaining about it one bit. Right now he's got 3 weeks booked ahead. AB had to hire 3 new people and pay them all what he paid my dad each. So he's paying more than what he would have paid my dad had he just given him the raise. And my dad's doing well for himself. My dad told me about the new hires. I swear I facepalmed so hard. There's probably a dent in my skull. What a fool. I know exactly that facepalm. I've had one of these, totally different situation. Since many people seem to care about my gender being mentioned, I simply removed it. What the heck? Catacombs says, there's a top rate comment, and they say, bizarre as it story isn't unusual. Instead of valuing an employee who will above and beyond, management often take them for granted. They are shocked when they finally leave and surprised when a replacement can't carry the same workload, horrified that they have to pay 3 times the salaries to get anything close to the same level of functionality. Uh, Plex says, yeah, business never learns, and this happens every day. All day, every day. It's true. Happens all the time. My son does pay his workers well. If they need benefits, he pays a salary plus benefits. If they don't need benefits, they get a little bit higher salary. Some kids don't need benefits right now. They need the money. So he encourages that. And he's got quite a few people working for him now. Layout says, because ignorance often rises to the top, lower level workers with a good work ethic are often selected for management roles because they wouldn't be doing that sweet, sweet work the company profits from. Actually, I had a regional manager tell me I was better where I was. Dick face hired an outsider who absolutely bombed. I found a competitive offer, put in my notice only for that some asshat to come back with a competing offer. Reluctantly had to negotiate and stayed for 2 more years. Best day of my life. Leaving that crap hole behind. Now I've more than doubled my salary and get directly compete with my previous employer. The best part is that I got to go back and do it in person. That's awesome. I love that for you. Raggedy Babe is the second top rated comment, and she says, your dad sounds awesome. Good for him on knowing his worth. Your family also sounds awesome for supporting your dad and building his own business. That's not an easy endeavor, and I'm sure a supportive family makes a world of difference. Third top rated comment is from Do Law, and they say, a similar thing happened to me. I used to be a manager at a record press. I was in charge of materials and also developed and fleshed out their color catalog for their customers. Not only did I create it from the ground up, but I also would create custom colors for clients for special projects, 150 plus unique choices. Well, color, should be shocked when it was time for a raise and it was barely an increase at all, 30%. Not even enough to deal with inflation. Yeah, all raises should be at least inflation, at least, probably more. They gave me the title of color coordinator to a guy who was a brown noser, and I had to complain about him passing work on to me over a year, with others joining in on complaints against him. Shortly after that happened, I put in my 2-week notice. Once they approved of all my PTO for a week off, I told them I wouldn't be back. Not only did they have to move that guy into my area who made more than me despite doing less work, they had to hire another manager because he couldn't keep up with my work. Who was also getting paid more than me. They have 25% plastic waste out of their huge stock of PVC because the new manager can barely do day-to-day tasks, let alone all the work that he was passing on to me. And then the new manager quit a few months after moving into the area because it was too much work. I love it when people move or start a new job and they complain about it's too much work. When it's really not, especially when it's really not. Wimps. They would rather pay $120 a year total instead of moving me to a new title and increase to reflect it. Suck at Memphis Recording Press. Memphis Record Pressing, sorry. I hope they get the best jobs. Because that sounds like a cozy job, pressing records in Memphis. That's a high record producing place. Next we have Am I Overreacting is entitled Am I Overreacting by How I Responded to My Boyfriend's Roommate's Girlfriend. Boyfriend's roommate's girlfriend. And there is a text. And it says, can y'all be quit until at least 5:15? This has been so hard to sleep with this entire week with how loud y'all are. And I assume this is OP. I mean, with all due respect, but I feel that people who are actively paying rent here should get the final say. You've gotten the benefits of a good majority of the fridge rent-free. and a parking spot that has been uninhabitable despite you and so and so usually riding together. I've been around for over a year, and it's been their habit, and we should respect that as guests in the house. I mean, that sounds reasonable to me. I apologize in advance. Unfortunately, this is not going to be short or simple. TLDR, BF's roommate, significant other, complains about its gaming at night, yet doesn't contribute a single thing to the household, not even rent. I'm going to refer to the characters as Jay, my boyfriend, Sam, boyfriend's roommate, Abby, because that's what we're using for A today. I hate it when they do this. Roommates, oh, we call her Abby. She's a girl. Abby for girls, Abby for boys. So Jay, Sam, Abby. So Sam and Abby are together, and Bob is the other roommate. B for Bob. Sam and Abby started dating about 6 months ago. Abby has slowly integrated their stuff into Sam's room and has essentially been living in the shared space rent free. Amongst that, there's been a plethora of issues with this arrangement. Please see the following. Takes up the entire freezer and a good majority of the refrigerator. Most of the food goes to waste and has to be thrown out. Well, not clean dishes that they leave in the sink. Okay, that's a sin. Still Jay's parking spot, forcing him to park on the curb to the side. Sam usually takes them to work while Jay uses his car frequently, so Abby's car is sitting for long periods of time. Why is Abby parking there? Just have her towed. Doesn't contribute to cleaning, utilities, internet bill, etc. Adopted a pet after moving in, yet don't pay pet rent. Other roommate has a pet that they paid a pet deposit on. This has been incredibly frustrating for Jay. But after the past 2 months, everyone in the house is livid. Everyone except Abby works either swing shift or night shift. So they tend to play games once everyone gets off their shift, residents and friends included. This has never been a problem until she texts me one night, y'all are so loud. I don't really know how to respond, so I just say, our bad. Later this night, they walk past everyone and don't even bother to say hello. Sam pops out and gently asks if we can quiet down because Abby specifically was complaining about being unable to sleep. Abby can go home. This is not her house. She can go home. Jay and Bob mentioned how this has been their habit for years now, and that everyone residing in the house is night owl. Sam seems to understand and even plays games with us. Cue the next night, they text me again. Why are they texting you? You don't live there. Mentioned pictures to which I honestly don't respond to for a bit. I make Jay, Bob, and friends aware, to which some of them were asking if they should go home. Then Bob tells us how Abby found his social media and messaged him saying, can you guys wanging quiet down? And he responded telling Abby that this is his place. Sam pops out later, and that's when Jay and Bob, oh, I didn't do that on purpose, I promise. And another one of our friends collectively lay their feelings out, basically everything I listed above. Jay also mentioned how Abby kept putting me in the middle of this by texting me, and informed him of a text that Abby sent Bob playing cursing at him. Sam had no clue she sent those texts to either of us and seemed quite appalled. Overall, Sam was quite receptive and ultimately joined us for some more games. This is the part where I'm wondering if I overreacted. This technically isn't my ballpark because I'm simply a significant other of one of the actual roommates. However, I feel they continuously involve me by texting me twice. I just wanted to drop my honest thoughts. AIO. No, not at all. Not at all. She texted you. You did not go out of your way to text her. She texted you. She didn't want you to be in the middle of it. She wanted to put you in the middle of it. Top Foundation says it's crazy she got a pet despite not paying rent. Like, that should have been a hard moment for everyone to be like, okay, at this point, you need to be paying rent. The Greasy Rhinos answers. Apartments usually have a limit on how long somebody not on the lease can stay over. She could get them in trouble for living there, much less the pet thing. Punk Palace says, this is what I was thinking. LP should really, at this point, point this out to those living there. Most places require all of the adults living in a unit to be listed on the lease agreement for background check and legal reasons. If I was the other roommates, I'd tell her she needs to apply, be added to the lease, and start paying up, especially since she's stealing one of your few designated parking spots. Weighing that. That's what gets me. She has the audacity. This girl has, like, was Audacity on sale? Did she find an Audacity sale somewhere? Because she has a lot of it. Oh, OP says Sam hasn't even paid the rent. Oh my. So two of them are living there rent free. My 80s addiction said, oh hell no. The entitlement, the audacity, the pet laid me out. This girl needs to go. You're right. This is not your call to make, but your boyfriend and the other actual paying roommates need to present a united front and tell Princess what is and ain't. I wouldn't even give her the option to pay rent on be on the lease. If this is how she acts as a guest, can you imagine how she would be if she actually lived there? No, just no, nor. OP says, I agree. I'm irritated the fact that instead of communicating with everyone else, she decides to text me like I'm a guest here too. So she at least admits that she's a guest. I imagine she's not. She hasn't moved herself in. No, Albatross says, quotes, it's been so hard to sleep. Then go home, bish. There, I drafted a response for you. You're welcome. Same. Okay, I'm adding this edit because you bitches be crazy. I use bish because I felt like using bish that day. No, I'm not afraid of the comment being deleted. No, I'm not crazy about correctness or clutching my pearls. No, I won't use bitch because you tell me to get off my back. I just didn't feel like using the word bitch that day. The goddamn over the top analysis where one word is ridiculous. It's not that deep, guys. Let's not police other people's languages. Exact molasses answers. See, now you're classy. I would have responded. His other girlfriend is much more respectful than you. Oh, that's funny. Next, we have entitled people, and is entitled, no, mate, we're not moving people, so you can sit together. I'm not sure if this was entitlement or plain stupidity, but here goes. About a decade ago, my then girlfriend, now wife, and I took a trip to New Orleans, Memphis, and Nashville. Cool trip. And a welcome change of scenery from cold, rainy London. Oh, you came to the US. Welcome. I'm sorry you went there. Those are very specific regional cultural places, for to be sure. With my girlfriend being a big country music fan and Nashville being a favorite TV show of hers, we thought we'd give going to the Bluebird a crack. Oh, okay, so that makes more sense. So there we are on the queue, doing the same as the people around us, counting off how many there are in front of us and doing the math for whenever we get in. And it was close. We thought we were two people out, so we needed someone to walk off. Enter the entitled, stupid people in front of us from California, judging by the accents, what they were saying. A group of six get beckoned as there's six seats left. On the way, they ask, we're all together, right? Or no, mate. An incredibly busy, very popular venue. They're not holding six seats together for walk-ins. But we want to sit together. Can't you move other people around? Bouncer looked confused, like someone had tried to explain Norway to a dog. Give the message that the seats were seats where they were, and it was take it or leave it. Group continued to employ for others to be moved to accommodate them, not getting the message that it's just not happening. Finally, they winged off after about 10 minutes of this, meaning my girlfriend got a bucket list item ticked off, and I gained boyfriend points for taking her there. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Good, those people left. They, on the other hand, blew a chance to go to an iconic venue because the venue wouldn't bend to their wishes, morons. Oh, they might. They'll be back the next day, don't worry. They'll be back doing the same thing for the whole week. On whatever, okay, says, FYI, I'm still trying to explain Norway to a dog. Gadget Man says, I'm from Norway and I approve this expression. Forward Deer says, I visited Norway last year. At first, I was confused by your country's customs, but fortunately, my dog was able to explain it to me, and I was wondering if you got all that info. Now I know. Second top rate comment is from Shirinrin. She says, Ugh, I used to work at a cinema. This happens so often. People would come in like 5 minutes before a popular movie on Saturday, and I tell them there's only separated seating left, and they'd start to ask if we can't move people. No, we're not going to move people who chose their seat several days before because you can't plan. I did that when we went to see Toy Story. I waited too late. The seats I really, really wanted were left in the 10 minutes it took for people to get back to me. And it sucked. We had to sit really close. And I'm not a fan of sitting super close. I like like they had 3 rows in the front and then a walkway, and then they have the rest of the rows going back. But the first row in the walkway is the handicapped area, which hardly ever gets used, to be honest. And they say if you pick these seats, you may have to move, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. Um, so we had to sit in the front if we wanted to sit together. It was pretty full for a weekday morning even. uh, Basement says, honestly, assigned seating is one of the better things the movie theater industry has done recently. Amen. So much less stress about where you're going to sit. I still get there before previews and finish most of my snacks before the movie starts. I do too. I'll go to the movies with you, base man. We can go together. You sound like my kind of people. They feel like, oh, we don't have to get there early. We can just roll up when the movie's supposed to start. I'm sure they'll have previews. Well, what if they don't? Because sometimes they don't have previews. Rando says, especially for popular movies, I hated having to get to the movie like 30 minutes before the previews just to scope out a seat. I'm like you. I like to be there 5 minutes before previews. I Heart Calibri says, I do not miss getting there so early. The pre-trailers, ads, and trivia stuff hadn't even started. Then some dude sits right in front of you anyway. Yeah, exactly. Next is Murder by Words. Travel with Mr. Michael says, I'm curious what you left us do for work. I do this. This is my only job. Eric says, I'm a doctor, but in my free time, I bioengineer vaccines to turn you gay. Oh, that's awesome. Runic Sakura says, I work in education. I secretly create materials to make children trans. Mount Flamingo says, I work in education. I promote the J agenda by having a rainbow theme in my classroom. What she didn't say is she's a kindergarten teacher. Delicious Disaster says, the next thing you'll tell me, you let the kids use all the colors from drawing. Laser Pew Pew says, I work in tech. My job is to develop software to turn frickin' frogs gay. Alan Isom says, I'm a data analyst and I make the numbers look like they aren't turning everyone gay, but we are, of course. Really Hot Showers answers, I'm a cloud engineer and develop very gay servers for you to manipulate numbers for Laser Pew Pew to deploy their extremely gay software onto. Kamikaze Guy says, I work in a tire factory. I coat tires and chemicals to turn your car gay. Relevant Vegas says, any affiliation with the guy making the asphalt that looks gay when it rains? I gotta keep going. And Tigany says, I work clinical trials. We're developing multiple medications to blanket the country and gay. Which is Sphincter says, we're going to be on top or under the blanket. That guy's Jumper Cables does a meme that says, why don't we have both? Saint Elviman says, I'm a professor and I spent all day in the secret teaching techniques that turn students gay. Meg's Gay Oil says, I'm also a professor and some days I mix it up and turn my students into socialists. Socialism for the win. It's not what you think it is. Next we have Ed from San Francisco, that Biscayne Bay, give me a 1-star review to Biscayne Bay National Park. Booked a snorkeling trip online. Arrived well before departure time. Checked at the park store as instructed. No one told us when we checked in, nor did the website say you had to arrive 45 minutes early because the boat left from a different location. Park would not refund $200 spent for 2 adults price of adventure, even though they did not inform us of this when we checked in the morning for the 8:30 p.m. trip. In fact, she said we should have figured it out. Pretty much warned our vacation. Okay, this is when this one is the snorkeling part of the national park. Otherwise, you're giving a 1-star review to the wrong person. A. 2, this is when you go to your credit card and say, I was not allowed to go on this trip because of this, and that, and they will refund your money for you. If you do not abuse it, it works every time. Next, you have Traumatized Them Back and is entitled Give Out My Phone Number. Okay, let's play. Okay, this one is ongoing. I had my cell phone number for the last 30 years. In 2016, someone I have never met and don't know started giving out my number to every political phone bank staffer and roofing scammer across 2 states. I started getting spam and scam calls, texts right before the 2016 US election and have not stopped since, multiple times a year. Okay. Is this somebody that you disagree with politically? Because it sounds politically motivated. Who's your friends? Who's your friends? Because they're not your friend. Contacted our phone company multiple times, and there's been no action. One day, if I recall correctly, in 2024, I received a text from a realtor directed at this person asking about the sale of his home and listing a street address. I thanked him for giving me the identity thief's address and promptly found a landline phone number by the simple hack of using Google. When I used this code to call the home number, there was an outgoing message mail that's apparently from the guy's wife. No help there either. She's been extremely rude, and when she bothers to answer at all. Cue the entertainment. Now, every time I get a call or text from the roofing scammer, I set up appointments. Some for 7 a.m., some for 8, some for noon, random days, random times. I send them a contact card with the home address and the home number and instruct them to call the home number if they need further info. Hey, at least I'm giving them a chance to find out they were calling the wrong person. Some of them never bothered to call the landline. It's been fun. Oh, yeah, I also found an obituary for the guy. Sometimes if I'm feeling generous, I'll send a link to the obit and tell them to contact me via Ouija board. Anyone cared about how many have paid attention to that? They just keep showing up at his house. One day I could ask hubby to drive us over there and hang out across the street filming. So the guy's already dead and you're still doing this? Brilliant Phoenix says, I had the same thing happening to me for the past 7 years. I've had my phone number for 25 years. So one day I got a call from a realtor wanting to buy her house in Jacksonville. I live in Metro Atlanta. I told him I'd sell it for $5,000. Embarrassed Son says, yes, I've had my number for 30 years now. I'm not changing it. I report scammers daily. I have 0 spam calls now. I don't have any spam calls on mine because they're all filtered out. OP says reporting them using Verizon's app really doesn't do much, if anything. Back in the 2000s, Bush instituted the federal do not call list and put all of my family's numbers on it. That was amazing. It cut out all of the spam calls. That lasted for a long time, but a certain blob got into office in 2016 and immediately killed it. I still haven't gotten spam calls. I don't know why. Don't be giving out my number. Next one, what should I do? And it is entitled, Considering Taking Legal Advice Against My Soon-to-Be Ex. I need advice on whether I would be able to. Oh, this is not appropriate. It's not appropriate for work or for home. There's something blocked out. It says, this is BS. Is this BS you? That was the OP. Where did you find that? That's not really your concern right now. Explain why I'm looking at our tape, our private tape. Are you selling pictures of yourself or is this purely for our entertainment? Hello, pick up the phone. Can you call them? Nobody knows it's us. I know, pick up the phone. Yeah, you don't do that. Twitter randomly suggests an account for me, female 18, to follow. I clicked and immediately realized it was my boyfriend's 21 male account. Okay, he's too old for you. He had been posting explicit photos of himself and videos of us having relations. I never gave him permission to post them, send them to anyone, or upload them anywhere. I want to take legal action against him, but I don't know if I'd be able to do so as I gave him permission to record us. You gave him permission to record you. You did not give him permission to distribute. So I don't know if that would even be possible. I feel so violated. He has been airing me since I found out. Please give me advice on whether I should go through with it. This credit says, get all the evidence you can possibly can and go to the police. This is horrible. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Yeah, and it shouldn't be. Don't spread other people's bodies over the internet at all, ever, kids. High Templo says, I want to note that the screenshot in itself is evidence. He is admitting that he knows that she doesn't know here. And if he tries to say she said it was okay, she can show this to them. That's true. Yep. This whole post, actually. Opie says, thank you, I will. I wasn't 100% sure if I could legally come after them for this. Many Constant says, maybe it may be easier to pursue in some places than others. It's super illegal in Canada, for example. And a quick Google search will tell you it's a federal crime in most of the 50 U.S. states. If it's a federal crime, it's a crime in all of the U.S. states and all the territories. Get yourself a lawyer, rake that winger across the coals. 100%. Afraid fixes police. Definitely police. It's Alvarino says police and a lawyer. Shape It Guy says, and a revolver. How did he not get? I got booted for 2 days for saying something that could have been interpreted as a threat. That was a definite threat. Electric says, I'm also wondering if you were 17 in any of those. Screenshot everything on the account's first page first, or have somebody else do it if you can't. If he's blocked you. Report him, don't wait, do this now, today. Walk into the police station and call. They will route you to the right people. This is really important. There may be other places by now. He will do this again if it doesn't happen. Everything needs to be pulled down by the police. Otherwise, you will always wonder. Trusting him to do it is not enough. That's true. I'm so sorry this happened. Betrayal. You can get at least part of it fixed. Saying it was a betrayal. It is betrayal. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it says, just complying with your written expectations and directions, boss. This should be rich. I was replying to another post, and I realized I have a malicious compliance story that should be shared on this sub. I was working in an IT help desk at a large hospital quite some time ago. We were expected to be at our desk, logged in, and ready to take our first call by the first start of our first shift. It took about 10 to 15 minutes to log in, load up, and log into 7 different programs, all with different passwords. Sounds like a pain in the butt. So really, you needed to be there 15 minutes early. They better be paying you for that, because that's illegal if they're not. They were shared computers. Sometimes you could get away with just locking it and leaving everything logged in and running until your next shift. But if somebody else restarts in the morning, you had to log in to everything again. It was a constant pain point for us, and it was frequently raised, especially as, for example, when the medical staff need to scrub up and scrub down. This is all during their shift time. My manager sends me a somewhat passive-aggressive email to the team. Hi, all. It seems we are still having a lot of issues around our shift times. I want to clarify my expectations. If you are on a 7 to 4 shift, I expect you to be here logged in, ready to go. And your status on the phone queue is available or on call at 6:59:59. Are you paying me for that minute or for that second, sir? If you want to make coffee, fill your water bottle, or put your lunch in the fridge, this all needs to be done by 7 a.m., not after. At the end of the shift, I expect you to be available or on call until 4:01 p.m. Only then may you log out, wash your coffee cup, etc. Wow, you can't even get up for a break? What the heck? If you're going to be stuck in traffic, have trouble finding parking, or miss your bus, you need to manage your time better and leave earlier. Like you know you're going to be stuck in traffic or miss a bus or whatever. Like the bus maybe you can predict that sometimes, but not all the time. For a while, I'll comply. I'm always available or on call at exactly 1 second before my start time, just waiting for my moment. And it happens. I get a call with a splash less than 2 minutes left on my shift to take the call. I get about as far as their name when they are where they are, and halfway through them describing their issue, when I see the clock hit 1 second over my shift time, and I say, "I'm sorry to interrupt you. My shift is over. Goodbye." Hang up and log off and go home. Good for you. I wish I could do that. Of course, I complained to my manager, pulls me into his office, asking to explain why I did what I did. I explained, well, I was available on the phone until about 2 minutes before the end of my shift. I answered the call, putting my status on a call until 1 second past my shift, so I logged off. They replied, no, if you're on a call, you need to finish that call first. Which I reply, your email says we are expected to be available or on call 1 second before our shift time, which I have been. It also says we are expected to be available or on call until 1 second past our shift time, and only then may we log off. I'm simply following your expectations and written directions. Of course, this was a very clear career limiting move, but at this point, I already had my foot halfway out the door. uh, Shin says, it will never cease to amaze me that there are so many places that somehow expect getting the equipment necessary for work is not work time, right? Rex Candace says, and 99% of those places actually wage theft. Exactly. The original commenter says, yeah, it's the worst part, combined with the fact that those same places are never going to let you leave early for an appointment. Gadget Girl says, career limiting, yes. Personally satisfying, also yes. Love Carlotta says, what a career, if they ever let anybody have careers anymore. Yeah, that's true too. Up to No Good says, sounds like where my wife works. Start time is 7:30. First patients are at 7:40. Very similar login situation. Some preview of the day's records also needed. She was clocking in at 7:20, but now that's a problem. So now she starts her tasks before clocking in. That's wage theft. She needs to report that to the state. They also use an authenticate I can't say it, authentication app and a text app for in-house messages, codes, etc., but have no cell phone policy. Oh, I'm so glad we never had that at GM. Thank goodness. The mention says your wife is a victim of wage theft. Throwaway says a no cell phone policy means they have to leave it in your vehicle or locker. If they are sending those codes to her personal phone, then she needs to request a work phone. Her personal phone is just that, personal. They can't force her to use company apps. It's very dangerous to do so. Using them only allows them to spy on her phone usage, force patches, track her, and even wipe her phone. Wow. I only had an authentication app, just authentified. It was for sign in, sign out. You didn't have to use it. It just made things easier. This is from Evil Buildings. Is the brutalism of abandoned Amanos hotel in Russia. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. They're dumb. They're Russian dumb. That looks quite cool, actually. Looks like they have balconies. Yeah, clean it up, paint it. Might be okay, to be honest. I mean, it's a balcony. It means you have a window at least. You have at least one window. And it's a hotel. It's not like people are living there. LP says this is the unfinished hotel Amanzus in Donbai, Karachay, Cherkessia, Russia, in the Caucasus. Late 1980s Soviet brutalist project designed that wild honeycomb facade of modular balconies. It was planned as a huge resort hotel, 180 room cinema for 630, and even it had a rumored rotating base to follow the sun. That sounds cool. Construction halted mid-project due to foundation cracks and funding collapse as the USSR fell. It's soon abandoned ever since, a concrete monument to the ambitious dreams that never finished. And it says it's now demolished. They're putting a new hotel. Van Express. Vinny Samples is the third top rated comic. His second one was meh. The honeycomb pattern is genius. It is. Social control, it says they look like gaps, and the whole thing is still waiting to be slotted in. AITAH, entitled AITAH for yelling at an obese woman in a movie theater. I mean, it's not looking good for you. Hi, everyone. Tonight I went to the movies to see Backrooms with my partner. We arrived just as the movie started and settled in and began watching. About 30 to 45 minutes into the movie, a couple came and sat right next to us. Usually I wouldn't care if someone comes in late to a movie, as I know I have before. However, this couple came in making a ridiculous amount of noise. I'm taking multiple wrappers of food getting tossed around and crinkled every few seconds. Non-stop chatter between the two of them for, I'm not even kidding, 15 minutes. That's what would piss me off. You can crinkle things, that's fine, but when you're talking over the movie, that's just rude. And I have confronted people on this before. Way back in the day. This is back in the 80s when my husband and I were still dating. His friend came to visit us at college. And we all went to the movies. We went saw a Star Trek movie. I can't remember which one offhand. I could look it up and find out, but it was one of the 80s ones. And there were two women behind us, and they were chit-chatting, and that's fine. All through the previews and everything, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. You can chit-chat through the previews. I don't care. The movie starts and they start talking about the movie. Like, oh, he's ugly. Oh, look at his teeth. I just turned around and said, excuse me, we're trying to enjoy the movie. Could you please be quiet? And they're just like appalled. They were older ladies. They were like my age now. So hopefully they're dead now. And they kept talking, and my husband's friend that was with us is well, now he's a captain in the Navy. He turned around and said, she asked you nicely. Now I'm telling you to shut up. My husband is always appalled when I confront people, but everybody that I've been with when I've confronted people have been on my side. So I don't know why he gets appalled. I don't confront people inappropriately. I do it when it's appropriate time to do it, which is when people are talking to you or when you don't get your order. They don't get your order correct at Taco Bell. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. The woman kept burping loudly between them talking to each other. That's disgusting. They were half whispering, but in a silent theater, it was incredibly noticeable and enraging. The woman also kept obnoxiously pointing at the screen, going, ooh, ooh, look at that, to her boyfriend, of completely non-eventful shots of the film, and then would loudly kiss him. Ew, go away. After putting up with this for roughly 20 minutes, I finally snapped. I turned to them and said loudly, are you two going to keep talking, or can you shut the fuck up, because it's extremely distracting? Like, I would be nicer about it. They just stared at me, and then they didn't talk for the rest of the movie, so I guess mission accomplished. I know I probably shouldn't have cursed, but at certain point, it's just ridiculous how some people don't give a single wang about the people around them. And nowadays, you know what? If you're going to talk, if you feel the need to talk through the whole movie, stay home and watch it when it comes out on streaming, honestly. Same kind of people who cut you off in traffic while drooling on their phones. Anyway, that's it. Let me know if I was the a-hole. Edit. I realized how offensive it was to mention the couple's weight in the title, as it was not relevant to my complaint with them. Thank you for those in the comments who made me realize that I was clouded by my anger and personal bias. I will work on my mindset moving forward. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and the her obesity was not even mentioned, so why mention that? It was unnecessary. The mod says, "Can the replies focus on the question in the post rather than on the title?" Full Reception says, "NTA movie theater etiquette has been declining for a long time. I don't know why you felt relevant to mention their body type, though, given that your issue was with noise." OP says, "Looking back on it, should not have now. I should have indeed mentioned their weight. I think they meant not. Thank you for the insight. I'll be a better person." Second top rated comment is from something I can't pronounce because it's six six letters and has one vowel. People who act like they're watching a movie in their home is the reason I haven't been to movies in years. You can just tell them to shut up. Truckinator says NTA for having a go at them, but you're the YTA for pointlessly bringing her obesity into the story. 100%. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell. Is entitled New Neighbors Blocking Shared Driveway. Recently, new neighbors have moved in. We share a gravel driveway. Almost immediately, they began blocking access to my parking spot and blocking me from leaving by parking in the driveway. The first time I asked the woman to move her car so I could leave, she had a toddler running around, so I was very polite. I asked her to not block the driveway. She said, "This is my driveway." No, you're sharing a driveway. It's not your driveway. It's also his driveway. I did not want to argue in front of a child and left. Now it seems I need to ask these people permission to come and go from my house. They've taken a lot of time, walk slowly, or have to wait for someone to arrive to move their car. I tried to be nice, but they have ignored every attempt to talk, just giving me a death stare. Just an ignorant, entitled family. Last night they had a party, so of course they had many cars blocking my driveway, one of which was owned by a cop in uniform. I had to wait 20 minutes for him to arrive and move his car. What do I do next? These people only moved in like 2 months ago, and I lived on my property for 20 years. Every account says block their driveway, like park last. Foolish Pleasure says, or if possible, drive on their lawn just to get out. Yes. Bonus points if you keep using the same paths and create ruts. uh, Sash says, pick a different route every time it rains. The ruts will get worse over time and destroy all the grass. Second top rated comment is from Christopher Walken. Which is an awesome, awesome username. You should have argued. By being so passive, you basically gave them permission to keep using you like a doormat. You're not going to have to argue every time and make a bigger pain in the ass for them to park there than for them not to. This is also one that's unpronounceable. And she says, she's answering Christopher Walken. I love it. That's exactly. Being polite in front of a toddler is essentially wasted time. You don't have to raise your voice to say exceptionally pointed things either. If you can't confront them, bring a relative or friend with you who can and record the confrontation. Yeah, you gotta hit that stuff head on. And I don't care if I'm not gonna raise my voice until they do, but if you raise your voice in front of your toddler, I'm going to too. And then your toddler's gonna cry because I'm gonna be really loud. Mysterious Way says, saying we share this driveway as an entitled idiot would have been appropriate. Use your words. You can say it politely. That's not arguing, that standing up for yourself. Exactly. This is from Benign Existence. My dog thinks he has to spin before mealtime. Most days I send my dogs outside to get their food ready. One of them can be food aggressive, so it's just easier to have them out of the way. Because of the food aggression, they eat in different rooms. One in the kitchen where the door is, and one in the dining room. For the first few days after moving in, I had to redirect the one who eats in the dining room from the bowl in the kitchen. This ended up with him teaching him to come in, make a clockwise turn, and then carry it onto his own bowl. Every day, twice a day, he runs to the kitchen door, spins a quick circle, and then goes to the rest of his food. Sometimes he enters the door while doing his spin. Sometimes he hits something mid spin. Occasionally, he slipped and jumped up to finish the spin. But if he was outside while the food was getting ready, there will be a spin. It doesn't matter what kind of day it is. If it's on the weekend, I spent the last few hours on and off arguing with them about how it's too early for dinner. Normally, with him leading the argument from the dog side, it always makes me smile. And for an extra smile, the other one comes in, goes straight to her bowl, gently wags her tail the entire time she's eating. Aw, that's very sweet. I love it. I'm not even reading the comments. Next, we have Found Satan, entitled Some People Just Want to See Their Ex's Relationship Burn. This is from Cold Boer. I message my ex while she's with her boyfriend so they can fight. I'd be like, "You looked cute today," and I haven't seen her in 6 months. It's evil. Oh my goodness. Why? She'll get smart and text back, "What was I wearing?" That's how you deal with that. Ted Burns says, "Better to send, yeah, of course, that's what you really want. I thought you had a boyfriend though, because it'll look like she deleted the previous message." Retired Grinder says, "Here he is. Oh, he posted the wrong guy." Major Paper says, "How does he know when his ex is with her boyfriend? Is he following them around?" Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's stalking her. Maybe he does know what she's wearing. Mike Pan says, and her in her new, much healthier relationship. Oh, my ex is texting me again. That guy won't let up, huh? Gotta block him. You gonna block him? No. Watching him think he's slick is kind of funny. Noise. Okay, this is an update from Just No Mill. So we are gonna go. Let me make sure I don't have it somewhere, because that would be terrible. I really don't read them beforehand. Okay, there it goes. Oh, first of all, I should find out when the update was. Was a month ago. Okay, we can read the update. Never mind. I just wasted time. I'm just wasting time. Okay. The original is Just No Mill. Entitled Mill Crossed a Major Lie by Leaking My Early Pregnancy, Gaslit Us, and Threw Us a Massive Guilt Trip when Confronted. Hi, everyone. I'm looking for some perspective, and honestly, I just need to vent. I, 31 female, have been with my husband, 32 male, for 3 years. We've been married for over a year and a half. By profession, I'm a therapist, so I consider myself pretty empathetic and containing person. However, from day one, my relationship with my mother-in-law has been distant. She never shown any genuine interest in me. She's never asked me a single personal question. And whenever I try to share something about myself, she either gives a dry one word response and changes the subject, or immediately shifts the conversation to talk about herself and her own problems. From talking to my sister-in-law, I found out she gets the exact same treatment. Well, that's always nice to know that you're not the one being singled out. The only difference is they have a few-month-old baby, so my mother-in-law constantly demands a relationship with the baby while continuing to completely ignore the mother. Why would you do that? I don't understand. My daughter-in-law was both of them were over yesterday. One of them without her husband. Well, at the beginning, both of them were without their husbands. A month and a half ago, my husband and I found out we're pregnant. It's our first pregnancy and first child. Initially, we planned on keeping it a total secret until week 12, which is smart. However, because the first 3 weeks were really difficult for me, I needed a support system. We decided to tell my family, who were absolutely thrilled and supportive. A few days later, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were involved in a car accident. That's terrible. Mill was moderately injured and now faces a rehabilitation process that will take several months. Because of this, my husband wanted to tell her about the pregnancy early to boost her morale and give her motivation for her recovery. I wasn't thrilled with the idea. I didn't really trust her to keep a secret. I preferred fewer people to know in case, God forbid, something went wrong. Perfectly understandable. Perfectly understandable behavior. But I didn't want to fight my husband on this. Also, perfectly understandable behavior. After our first ultrasound at week 7, we told his parents. Her reaction was incredibly disappointing. She said a dry congratulations and immediately started rambling about some colleague from work. Uh, husband was visibly hurt. I didn't care as much because my expectations of her were really low, and I didn't really care. During our conversation and multiple after, we explicitly emphasized that this is a secret and she must not tell anyone. She agreed and she said she understood and promised that she wouldn't say a word. Fast forward 2 weeks, I received a message from my sister-in-law. She wanted to tell me that mother-in-law has been telling people about the pregnancy. She actually showed the ultrasound picture we gave her to her husband's brother and told her 2 sisters as well. When husband called her out and asked if she told anyone, she flat out lied and said no. When I countered this with that his brother literally confirmed she told him, she immediately went into full manipulation mode. Hey, I said manipulation. Almost perfectly, not quite. She started complaining about how much pain she was in and how hard her life is right now, and claimed we were just making our difficult recovery even harder. Oh, shut up, lady. I can't stand these people. Then she threw a random guilt trip, crying that her heart was broken because her other son visited with her without the baby. Husband stood his ground and told her that it had absolutely nothing to do with his, and demanded to know who else she told. At that point, she tried to blame father-in-law, claiming he was the one who said something and that it was only to his brother. Husband kept pressing, and she finally admitted that she also told her sister. When husband told her that we are furious and deeply disappointed in her, she resorted to the ultimate manipulation, threatening that she won't be here tomorrow morning because we are making her too sad. Okay, bye. Do not do that. It's ridiculous. Stop it. I told husband explicitly until she offers a genuine apology, fully takes accountability for what she did, understands why her behavior was completely unacceptable, and promises never to do it again. I'm going no contact with her. I will not share a single detail about the pregnancy with her. Furthermore, if she doesn't get her act together over the next 7 months, she will not be seeing the baby because I refuse to let myself be treated this way. Good for you. Do not take abuse from anyone, not even your own parent, much less somebody else's parent. Currently, husband agrees with me, and it's been 5 days since the confrontation. She, on the other hand, is acting like nothing happened. She keeps sending husband casual texts, which he is ignoring, and hasn't said a single word about what happened, let alone an apology. Does she have dementia? Am I being too harsh or going no contact and setting these strict boundaries the right move here? Well, you're a therapist. You should know. You should know that you're doing the right thing, dude. And thank you so much for the validation and support. It really means a lot. I know what she did was wrong and that we must react, but I'm also harboring a lot of fear and anxiety about the future. First, I'm terrified that she will manipulate the rest of the family, paying the ultimate victim and painting me as the villain, who is depriving her of her rights as a grandmother. Okay, and if they um, buy into that, then they can't say the baby either. And keeping her child away, I'm scared that she will convince everyone my reactions are completely irrational. Second, I'm deeply afraid that as the due date gets closer, she will start crying and complaining to husband. Right now is too early in the pregnancy, so she doesn't really care. But once we reach the interesting stage, I know exactly how she operates. She will demand to be there, hold the baby, and to kiss its head the moment it comes out of me. When we don't give her what she wants, she will exhaust my husband with endless drama. Even though she is her mother, he is the one who has to deal with her. He didn't choose her, and it breaks my heart to see him suffer because of her. Yeah, I imagine that's true. I talked to my own mother about this. She's the only person I can vent to right now. She told me that I'm 100% justified in my anger, but she also pointed out that mother-in-law will never understand what she did was wrong and I will never get a genuine apology. My mom thinks I should just drop it and let it go because my holding my ground will only overwhelm my husband and eventually cause major fights between us. I feel torn between protecting my boundaries and protecting my husband from her toxicity. Ed Murphy says the moment she threatens self-harm is the moment she decided not to be in the baby's life and also report that crap to her hospital. Yeah, 100%. We have an update. Update is from 28 days ago, so only shortly after the other one. After almost 2 weeks of no contact, I got the following message from mother-in-law. So it's been 2 weeks. Hi, sorry you were all offended by me. When I told brother-in-law, it was purely out of excitement, and Bill said that they already knew, so I thought you guys had told them because I know that Bill and husband talk to each other and everything. I only told Aunt because she's a nurse. I had so many questions, and you can't ask husband because he has no patience. Why do you have questions about you've had children? You know what the deal is. Overall, I was just worried about you and the fetus. Fact is, husband told other aunt, and other aunt still doesn't know to this day. All three aunts are her sisters. This was my response. Hi, Mill. It is important for me to clarify that I wasn't offended by you. You actively breached my trust. Excitement is not a valid reason to share someone's private and medical information with anyone, and neither is worry. If you had concerns and felt uncomfortable approaching husband, you could have easily come to me and asked. None of these excuses justifies the fact that despite us asking you multiple times to keep this a secret, you chose to tell two different people. The fact that you didn't tell other Ann is completely irrelevant and doesn't make the situation okay. Furthermore, the fact that we had to find out from other people what you did and that when husband confronted you about it, you flat out denied it, blamed others, and tried to make excuses using unrelated drama only destroyed my trust in you even further. Right now, after everything that happened, I do not trust you. I do not feel comfortable sharing my personal life, my private information, or anything regarding this pregnancy with you. I don't know how we can rebuild this trust, but out of respect for husband, I am open to try. However, this is a process that you will need to initiate. You need to figure out how to do that. First, by doing some self-reflection and understanding on other people's boundaries, and then we can work on our relationship. Her text made me absolutely furious. First of all, she doesn't take any accountability for what she did. Instead, she blamed me for being offended rather than admitting she did something offensive. Second, the entire rest of her message was just excuses for why she did what she did, completely failing to understand that it was wrong. I want to thank everyone who commented on the original post. You really helped me understand the rational reasons behind my anger, which also allowed me to deliver my message to her clearly and unemotionally. It's already been 2 hours since I replied to her, and I haven't received a response. I don't expect an answer anytime soon. Should we see if there is another update? Because this has been 28 days. No other updates. That stinks. That stinketh. America Cafe says the exact same thing happened to me my first pregnancy, and she still won't hold her accountability for all these years later, even after we've gone no contact. It's always been my fault, not hers. It's beyond frustrating, and I really feel for you. KLB says, great response. I really hope you stick to your boundaries on this. And based on your prior post, you recently had another daughter-in-law pregnant. So what kind of questions did she really need to ask of her nurse sister about modern pregnancy? Honestly, what questions should she have that she can't like Google anyway? Next, we have AIT. We have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITA. It should be AITJ because it's the wrong sub. AITA for kicking my friend out in the heavy rain after she disrespected my boundaries. We'll find out, I guess. Last Friday started heavy raining while my friend was at a shuttle terminal near my hostel. He called me for help. I invited him to come in and wait in my room until the rain eased up, or he could catch the next shuttle. He refused, and then I offered to bring him an umbrella, but he declined too, saying the shuttles weren't running frequently because of the weather. About 30 minutes later, he called again and asked me to meet him because the rain was getting worse. I immediately got up, grabbed my umbrella, and headed out. On my way, I found out he had already started walking to my hostel with someone who had an umbrella. When he arrived, I let him into my room. I have roommates. I invited him to sit on my bed, and suddenly he was scared of me. I was shocked and asked why. He just shrugged and said, I just am. A few minutes later, he still climbed onto my bed anyway. Then he started complaining that my bed was messy. There were books and pens on it. I cleared them so he could lie down. He proceeded to take over the entire bed. The final straw was my laptop and laptop table, which also had my cards, money, and important documents on it. I explicitly told him not to move with him. I stepped out briefly to see someone in the next room. When I returned, he had moved the entire table with everything on it into the middle of the room. Why would you do that? I don't know if I told him to leave. He acted like he didn't care and ignored me at first. But I stayed firm until he finally got up and left. I was still pouring outside by that point. I didn't care. AITA. He came into my space, disrespected my clear boundaries, and acted entitled after I went on my way to help him in bad weather. No, I mean, he didn't. You told him not to move it, and he moved it. He's a child. He's a child, needs to be kicked out. Haywood says, rain is only water. He'd dry off and maybe learn a lesson or two about personal etiquette and NTA. Plus Stage says, I hope you blocked him on the way out too. Why is he scared of you? That's my question. It's silly. This guy is a child. Taylor Maid says, wait, the friend that contacted you multiple times for help and you were even going to allow him to stay in your place was afraid of you? Was he on drugs? Either way, he needs a friend. Who needs friends like that, NTJ? Somebody, Gene Consciousness answers, was he on drugs? Yes. Green says, he's kind of weird. Trust your gut rather than his guilt trip, NTA. Anna says, for real, he gave major creepy vibes. Gut feelings exist for a reason. But he's afraid of her. I assume it's a girl. I don't know. Looks at the size of the story. Entitled No Pizza Allowed. This was at our hotel lobby near Myrtle Beach. Doesn't really say no pizza allowed. Although I did use the title. Do not order from unknown pizza places. Ask a front desk for recommendations. Usually they won't give you recommendations, so no. So no, we're not doing that. I will order from the place I see on Google that has good pizza. Catnip is correct. Says fake advertisements with fake contact info slips under hotel doors. Orders placed, money stolen, pizza never arrives. Common scam in tourist areas. That's why you don't go by advertisements. This is cracking me up because of something that BW said the other day. Can't get away with that easy. Good grammar is essential. So are good manners. Well, thank you, and you're welcome. It's all Batman crap from then on. One evil monkey says, welcome to Myrtle Beach, one of the top 5 cities with the highest crime rates in the country for years, for a population under 250. Biggest damn potato. My Republican father-in-law retired to Myrtle Beach and thought this was a low crime and good people because everybody he saw was white. He got ripped off constantly. It's called Dirty Myrtle for a reason. Diagnosis are scams. That's why I probably should explain that on the sign. Kevin says, yeah, if the sign is at the front door, they couldn't put recommendations on the sign as well. Yeah, exactly. Inside comment says, Myrtle Beach is like Detroit with a beach. I'm sorry, but we have real places in Detroit. Like real pizza places in Detroit. Like Buddy's. If you don't know what Buddy's is, look it up. Buddy's Pizza. Now we have Expectation versus Reality, and it is entitled Walmart Mermaid Baby Shower Cake. This was the expectation. Now, historically, Walmart has been pretty good about taking business from other businesses, shall we say. Here we go. Oh, it's not bad at all. That's very nice. Walmart is in it to win it. My mom and I frequent the sub and decided to take a chance in ordering a baby shower cake from Walmart for a mermaid themed baby shower. Came out well and tasted pretty good. Not overly sweet, had a good texture and flavor. We added some of our own decor pieces to the cake, but honestly, it didn't need it. 1010 would order more cakes from them. Added to add my mom said the cake was $75. She picked the whipped frosting. Ew, I don't like the whipped frosting. The top tier is chocolate with strawberry jam, and the bottom is white vanilla cake with strawberry jam. We did get the mermaid tail on the website pick, but it took it out and added the pink one we ordered online. We also ordered the pastel mermaid tails cupcakes from Walmart, and those came out exactly like the website picture too. It's good. Antisocial says, "Wow, Walmart is really doing well with cakes and cupcakes. The colors in yours look better too." Positive Squirrel says, "Right, I see so many young bakers on TikTok that post about how they were able to work and perfect their cake decorating skills by working at Walmart. Other grocery store bakers. There's really passionate and skilled people there." If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Tell your evil mother-in-law. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your worst enemy. Tell everybody. Also, Lindsey Graham died. And I got news that my mother died the same day. So I will never forget when Lindsey Graham died. I guess, maybe. No, I'll probably forget. I'll honestly probably forget. This is in Annapolis, California. It says a geometric Roman dome. I don't get that. $895,000, 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,500 square feet. Built in 1982 on 40 acres. This looks pretty cool, to be honest. Looks neato. I love this round window, but I hope it never breaks. Windows are expensive, you guys. I'm just saying. Nice deck, little porchy deck here. I like that. The garage is way back here, so that's nice and out of the way. It's not a snout house. Oh, it's gated. Nice. Yeah, that looks really cool. Oh, porch swing. I wish I had a porch swing. Oh, here's the geometric thing back. A geodesic dome that they were talking about. It's very cute. It's definitely A-frame. That's nice. I like. A-frames, you always have the really tall ceilings. Nice view out the giant window. I like the kitchen. I finally found a kitchen I like. How do you pull the drawers out? I hope there's a space between here and here. Or is that... Oh, it's right up against it. Okay. It's weird having drawers shaped like that, though. That's weird to me. But I do like it. Has a nice stove. Where's the refrigerator at? Where's the sink at for that? I think the sink's right there by the stove. Yeah, sink's by the stove. Nice. I like. Oh, and windows too. Excellent. I like a sink with a good window view of the outside. There's the fridge. That's a nice, decent triangle. So that's cool. Not a huge fan of the galley kitchen, but that's just childhood trauma. That's just childhood trauma. I'm sure that table is not staying there, but I need a table. Desperately. I should go look again, see if anything's changed. I need a table that is good for like 2 to 4 people on a normal day, and like 12 people, probably 12 people for special occasions. Because there's 10 of us, and if we have anybody else, we need 12. I even like the countertop. That's really cool looking. Probably have to really take care of it though. I don't have to take care of mine. Is that the half bath? What is that? I don't know. That looks fake. Why does that look fake? It's so pretty, it looks fake. Okay, too many pictures of the living area. Oh, this is where they watch TV. Instead of downstairs. I have to go upstairs to watch TV, guys. That's big TV. It's a good sized TV. I do not like that red in that bathroom at all. Not at all. Bathroom is tiny. Teeny, tiny, tiny little bathroom. Hallway looks appropriate. It's interesting they have a window in the hallway. I guess you can open it up and yell at people downstairs. Nice bedroom. I like the flooring. I'm a fan. I like the windows. The mirror's kind of weird. There's plenty of room in there. Oh, it has a deck. Opens out into a deck. Okay. That's a design, not a stain. Oh, it has a bidet. It has a bidet I want. My husband really needs a bidet and he doesn't know it and he won't acknowledge it. So we need to go to Japan or something. Yeah, another bedroom. It could be a bedroom. They're using it as a workout / game room, looks like. Yeah, that's what you need to do with your desk. Point it outside. I don't have room for that. Not in here anyway. I wonder what the geodesic dome is all about. I like that. You get shade and sun. That's excellent. Cool. What is this? I forget where it's at. Garden with raised beds. Nice. Usual geodesic shed. Oh, maybe that's a um the word hydroponics coming to me, but not the greenhouse word. Nice greenhouse. I would love that, to be honest. That would be so cool. Yeah, this is definitely a greenhouse. That's cool. We got a pavilion. Clearly it's a garage. It's one of those carport. Clearly it's a carport. But I'm going to use it as a pavilion for when everyone comes over and we have picnics outside. That's what we're using it for. Chicken run, a nice big chicken run. Look at the chickens. I was like, oh, they have toys. Oh my goodness, they have a swing. That is awesome. Do the chickens come with the house? That is so cool. I love it. Now I just want the chickens. I can't have chickens where I live. The puppers. Why are they caged up? What's so mean to do with the puppers? They should be in the house. They're part of the family. Another farming area, gardening area. Oh, it has a river. Nice. Puppers in the river. Nice. I like it. Did say it was on 40 acres, didn't it? Oh, look at that. That is so cool. I want. Okay, I want. You got to talk to me into it. Yeah, it's on 40 acres. Built in 1982. So it has all of the things, I'm sure. Designed for both convenience and self-sufficiency. Includes a covered carport with power and water hookups for an RV or camper. So my son could come and visit. A fully fenced dog run, 12 by 18 dog house, A generous 30 by 20 chicken coop. That's big. Gigi's dome greenhouse and raised garden beds. I like it. I like it a lot. It's cool. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathroom, 3 full bathrooms. Needs a half bath. Dining room, kitchen, master bedroom, 2 master bathroom, master bedroom, media room, office, possible guest. Granite counters and a pantry, closet, and skylights. Granite's good as long as there's no rain on. Central heating and wood stove. Cooling a cedar fan, ceiling fans, central air, and wall units, all 3. Interesting that you would need all 3. Appliances are dishwasher, disposal, freestanding gas oven, freestanding gas range, freestanding refrigerator, and range hood. Laundry is in the garage. That's interesting. I mean, it's better than being downstairs. Does not have a basement. Oh, no, it doesn't have a basement. That's okay. That's a mark against it. No basement. We have to have the basement. We have Lego. Although I guess you could go out to the dog run, and because we're not having dogs anytime soon. Where are the taxes? I want my taxes. Oh, $12,000. Tax assessment is way more than they're asking for it. The tax assessment is 1.1 million, and the price is only 859,000. And they just bought it last year for 825,000. So they're probably asking a little bit too much. They're probably going to have to lower that by at least 20,000, I would say. Let's see what peeps have to say. The Rambo Sambo. Okay, I like that one. This is actually kind of awesome. Tal says, actually nothing. It is for less than $1 million on 40 acres if you had a proper remote job. We're looking to retire. This is incredible. Nice property taxes. Yeah. I don't know why it's assessed so high. Native Masswell says, this is my biggest dream for a home to have a beautiful river stream like this nearby that I can chill in. Okay Touch says, so we wanted water too, but we didn't have big money and we weren't fond of having a lot of land. We found the cutest little ranch on a 1/4 acre with a beautiful underground spring-fed creek. We spent less than $200,000. The yard is beautiful, treed, 1/4 acre. Does not seem like a lot, but I have begun planting in the front and planned on a lot of vegetation, fruiting trees and bushes over the next few years. Once we remove part of the fence, we can sit on rocks and put our feet in. That's nice. I like it. JDT says, love this. And MiQ says, this is a dream house on levels for me. Forest Creek, cool architecture, chicken coop, raised beds, and greenhouse. Amazing. I agree. Even though I'll never do the card. It's too hot. Next one is Server Life, and it's entitled Employee Meals So Expensive / Poorly Made / Discouraged That We Bring Our Own Lunch Now. Okay. That's weird, but okay. Trisha Sebring says, I get 15% off working hours on certain items only. Endless Birthday says, when I worked at Tropical Smoothie, we got half off kids' meals. When I worked at Zio's, we got half off everything except kids' meals, desserts, soups, and salads, entrees with premium proteins. Eating the free bread resulted in a write-up. When I worked at Texas de Brazo, we got half off once a month. Max party of 4, desserts and drinks and desserts not included. I never ended up working somewhere where I felt valued. I don't know, half off once a month at Texas de Brazil. That seems like a thing. They get 25% off. Yeah, please find somewhere that cares about you. We get a free meal every shift, and cooks offer to make us things all the time, which is nice. Okay, this is from Confession. It is not safe for work. And it says, I got a boner while the nurses were prepping me for vasectomy. I'm sure they don't care. I had to get knocked out with anesthesia for my vasectomy. Prior to the procedure, they had to shave the entire area. Usually they make you do that yourself nowadays. Two female nurses were the ones doing the shaving, and unfortunately, I thought one of them was very attractive. I didn't say or behave in any way that was unprofessional, mostly just kept silent the entire time, unless I was asked questions, which I answered politely. But at some point, they were holding things out of the way. The vibrations of the electric razor and the intimate contact led to my body doing exactly what I was trying to avoid. I was at half mast before they were finished. I felt horrible about it. I was too scared to say anything. No one acknowledged it, but there's no way no one noticed. They happens to them all the time, I am sure. It was deeply embarrassing, and I'm really hoping it wasn't disturbing for the nurses. It wasn't. The bodily functions happen. You have no control over it. People know this, especially medical people. I hope they don't think I was being a creepy or anything. It was completely involuntary. Edit, thanks for the comments, especially those in healthcare. I'm much less worried about it now. Oh, good. I'm glad. Either comment answer as the top rated comment. People that work in healthcare are prepared for this, and it's completely normal. Best Market says, as long as you don't make it uncomfortable by some weird crap, they won't talk crap about you. My wife is in healthcare and such more accepting vaginas than a porn star. She only ever talks about the a-holes and creeps. Pro-choice doc says, you and everyone else, my God, don't sweat it. Yeah, exactly. KVK says, completely normal. They're professionals. It's a finicky part reliant on physical stimulation. If you're messing with it, it's going to happen at some point. Nothing to be ashamed of. Exactly. Bella Sherry says, a healthcare worker here, they might make a comment to each other afterwards. If this is not uncommon, they just move on. If they make a comment, it's because something was unusual. It's probably a compliment. Next, we have Mother-in-Laws from Hell, and it is entitled, I finally put my mother-in-law in her place. Was it too much? My mother-in-law has been a demon from hell living on earth. This exploded when my nephew came over to our house, and my mother-in-law does live with us, and she kept asking when he was leaving right in front of him, which made him uncomfortable, and eventually I just took him home around 10 p.m., even though he's supposed to spend the night. My husband did go off on her, but of course she doesn't think she did anything wrong. The next day rolled around, and me and my husband decided we're just going to move out and leave her in the house. We told her this, and then she turned it on me and started verbally attacking me, saying that the relationship was amazing before I came along, and he used to be her favorite, of course. She sounds like a trip. Not a good one. I told her it's because she's rude and disrespectful, and she claims she's not, and she doesn't have to like my family or respect them. Yes, you do. If you expect us to live with you, you have to respect everybody's family. So I go back and forth, and I told her she's acting like my husband is her husband, or she's some type of owner, and he's her pet, which really set her off. She told me that my mom is a kitty cat, really hates my mom because she did the baby shower. My mom also went off on her because his mom threatened to kill my dog, but she doesn't like dogs, and I didn't want my dog to move in. So I got up and got in her face, and I asked what she was going to do about it. I'm not a physical person at all or a confrontational person, but I'm just so sick for the past year of living with her craziness. This is the thing. People that aren't physical and don't confront people, even they have their limits. And when you reach them, it's not pretty because they have a lot of stuff pent up in them. I'm not saying they're going to be physical, but they will be confrontational and you will regret it. I'm not sure if it went too far. And I did apologize to my husband. I told him I wasn't really going to put my hands on her, but I was just so upset for the longest time now that she's been a lot to handle. Update. We moved out. Husband told me he was sad about how we had to leave, meaning he thought everyone could have gotten along, but proved otherwise. He also said I was trying to fight his mom, but I told him I wasn't. He said it didn't matter because there's better ways of doing things. Well, why haven't you done those, sir? He said he'd get over it, though. She cried about him leaving and said she never wanted to see me again. Okay, bye. Then she sent every gift I've given her. Some gifts I've seen tucked away in drawers. So the fact that she perfectly went digging is funny. Either way, I'm extremely relieved, all of you. Thank you, all of you who commented. Old Times Eddie says, what done is done. She's clearly a see you next Tuesday. I'm Scottish, so it's allowed. I would say make sure you and your husband stay ahead of this before she goes playing the victim on social media or to any other family members because she 100% she will. Please do with the see you next Tuesday word, not Scottish. Old Time Eddie says, you've got a free Scottish pass now. I feel free to use it on your mother in law or whoever. Somebody gave her an English free pass. It's valid until 2099. Can I have one? Hetty Bates says, it's a second type rated comment. They say, this is a reactive abuse. She pushed and pushed and pushed you until you gave her the desired outcome. Exactly. Reactive abuse is a thing. And I don't think people should be held accountable for it. I know she can complain about how violent you are, even use it against you and your DH, but it's okay. Now you know and you won't do it again. In fact, she starts up again, let her know you're aware of her game. No, mother-in-law, I won't work this time, so knock it off and shrug and walk away. Yeah, if you push and push and push people, they reach their limit. Sofa Queen says she got what she wanted from you, a negative reaction. So what do you do now? You stay away from her. You no longer interact with her at all. Act like she's not there. She talks to you, suddenly you're unable to hear. She gets in your face, you smile and walk away. Do not engage. She doesn't have to like your family or respect them. True. Yes, she does. I mean, that's just, yeah, but I guess so, but she's not going to get respect back. True. Same goes for her. You don't have to like her or respect her either. Enjoy your freedom come Friday. However, since your house is in husband's name, I would recommend you sell the house. The money would be wonderful for your little family. Yes. Opie said, yeah, I'm actually pretty embarrassed I did that. I'm just not that type of person to be physical. I was just so tired of it. It's been about a year of constant torture. I can understand that. I've witnessed such. Interesting AF. We got a cheetah, guys. Wildlife photographer opened his eyes to find a cheetah sleeping next to him. We learned here a short while back, that cheetahs would be house pets if they could breed in captivity. Oh, that is sweet. He just wanted to cuddle. They're cuddle bugs. They are cuddle bugs. uh, Sleepwalker says he's sleeping in broad daylight with cheetahs around, and it takes me hours to get sleep in my comfy bed. Zesty Close Space says I can fall asleep on any surface that is vaguely horizontal and not entirely made out of hornets. Somebody says that's a superpower. Yeah, it is. I had a 22-hour flight plus a 8-hour layover. I was awake for the entire time. Unless I have heroic doses of benzos, I can't sleep in weird locations, aka something like a bed in a dark room. I just can't switch off. It's a waning nightmare sometimes. Wait, you'll get older. Somebody says, me and a cheetah someday for sure. Cheetahs are sweethearts. Just so you know. They like humans. Next is Am I the A-hole? And is entitled AITA for making my coworker cry because her mocked her nose job. Yeah, probably. I female, I'm working a long time in Korea and got hired for a company that consists only of Koreans. There's this one particular coworker that was really nice to me until I showed her a picture of my boyfriend one day who was also Korean. From that day on, she low-key started being a bit snarky towards me. These are racist people that think that races shouldn't mix. That's what it sounds like to me. At first, she would comment on the type of food I always eat, like, wow, you're eating all of that? That's a lot of calories. But at the same time, comments got nastier and nastier. This was the one time when she asked me if my great grandparents were Nazis. I'm German American. But at the time, I didn't realize she was being passive aggressive, and I thought she was genuinely concerned about my health and curious about my family history. I only started to realize the shade when she started commenting on my relationship with my boyfriend, talking about how she didn't like that there were so many white girls dating Korean guys nowadays. What did I say? And basically, the typical racist ethnic homogeneity is good crap. At this point, I was just fed up with her and started ignoring her and refused to look in her general direction. But recently, there was this one incident where she started talking crap about my looks. In a fit of anger, I told her at least I didn't need an obvious and terrible nose job to look decent. But I said this way too loud, and basically everyone on the floor heard my comment because everyone was staring in our direction. She started tearing up and crying. To be honest, I knew she was insecure about her nose, but since it was the secret that she told me before the beef, she regretted the surgery because it didn't turn out the way she hoped. But because I was so angry and she was dissing my looks, I blurted it out. I mean, don't dish it out if you can't take it, chickie. I told my boyfriend about this and he said I was in the right, but the general consensus among my coworkers was that I should have said that shouldn't have said that personal secret out loud and instead talked to her privacy. Honestly, you should have gone to HR way before it got this bad. AITA. There's lots of deleted things. All comments are deleted. Second top 3 comments. NTA, I'm a Korean woman, though not in Korea, and if that went down my workplace, I would told to be on your side. She's been throwing shade all this time and got it back. Hopefully she learned a lesson. It would be NTA if this was in high school, but it's a work environment, though, so it's an ESH for me. It really sucks here. You probably should have handled it better. Justified a-hole, in my opinion. I don't have a problem with what she did, but she should have went to HR instead of airing it in public. That's how you handle that. Next, we have Overheard, and it is entitled What a Doss. I'm shopping again, groceries, yada, yada, yada. A little girl behind me pinches my leg. What was that for? I asked. Oh, you are not my dad, she says. She looks around, sees her dad. I gotta say, we really all look the same. Cargo shorts, band t-shirt, shades, big belly. Do you know what the wangadoos are? She asks. Except she said the word. The what, I think? The what, I say? The wangadoos. On the other side, I hear avocado. And then a man wheezes of laughter, then 2 or more. I look up and say, buy 4, pay 3. Wangadoos in the hand, little girl, the dragon eggs. Here you go, little girl. Dad, I found the wangadoos and the guy looks like you. I never recover from that. I'll never say avocado wangadoos. That's probably because her dad calls them wangadoos with the F word, adoos. Monkey Nuts Johnson says apparently the little girl knows her ancient internet history. Free Chevocado. Chevocado. OP says, now explain to my wife why I'm crying. Deb says, I did something similar the other day. I was at a store in the mall and I was looking for stuff. I see from the corner of my eye a little kid coming at me. Mistakenly, I thought it was my kid, so I patted them on the head. Next thing I know, I hear this blood-curdling scream. Needless to say, I apologized to the little girl and the mom. OP says, first the kid mistakes you for the mom, dad, and cries, you lose. You mistake the kid for years, you lose. You do nothing, you lose. You can't win if you don't laugh it off. It's true. Cork the Cork says, that's so funny. My husband will mess with our kids saying avocado. Now I'm wondering how our youngest would never call them wangadoos like this little girl. Next, we have Drop My Chest, and it's entitled My Spouse Cheated, and 7 months later, I feel like she's a piece of crap. Because she is, because she cheated on you. This is normal. 7 months ago, my spouse slept with a good friend of ours. This was a man that was present at our baby shower and whom we went to concerts with and hiking trips. This is a man with a fiance that he's been a piece of crap to for years now, but he's always stated he would never leave his fiance. Just when I think I've typed the worst part of all this, I remember that the part that truly upsets me and has changed my entire view of my spouse. We figured she had HPV during routine doctor's visit appointments, and I've always assumed, since I'm a man, that I have it as well. We both had a sexual past, and we can't determine who gave it to who, but we can move forward together. That was 3 years ago. Fast forward 2.5 years, she winds up needing surgery due to HPV complications. Only reason it matters is she was still positive. Her tag team partner in the affair knew about this, and they agreed not to wear protection. Willingly compromising himself with an STD he can't really get tested for accurately, but is more than capable of passing along. My spouse ends up with emotions for him and falls down the actual path of tricked side woman. He tells her he does not have those feelings for her, and they decide to stay friends. This is complicated. I don't understand it. Do you? I found out things did not go well, nothing physical at all, as I would never lay a hand on a lady. But words were exchanged in the heat of the moment. I left and I moved out, as you should. But my anger never left, and as I started therapy, it started to become more and more clear that he willingly, possibly contracted HPV and is still with his fiance. Wow, what a creep. His poor fiance that needed to know, so I messaged her, as you should. I told her and I told her about every single time they continued to interact. To remind her that this man proudly and without consideration might have given you an STD from his side piece that could possibly cause cancer. He does not care for you. It hit me. Not only was I cheated on, but I also with this person I spent so many years of my life with. Someone I built a family with and thought I knew morally was culprit in this as well. She failed to respect the marriage. She failed to respect herself. But worst of all, she knowingly participated, understanding completely that he was not going to leave his fiance. More than likely, would have probably had sex with her. We started couples therapy, and I think I've come to the conclusion I won't ever fully believe that she isn't a piece of crap. So you should divorce her, honestly. And Curious says, dude, she is a piece of crap. This is insane behavior. One thing isn't fair, but this is crazy. She has no sense of morality. Shaky Fire says, she was going to leave you. Why are you still there? Please find someone worthy. 100%. Kirk just says, leave her. WTF. She is a BOS. You cannot stay with a cheater under any circumstances. I'm with all of them. He needs. Why are we doing therapy over this one? Like, she cheated with your best friend? Like, are you kidding me right now? And she knew she was contagious, and she did it anyway. What are we doing? Next we have MIO reacting about these texts. This is under what should I do? Guess we'll share. They're not very clear, to be honest. Howdy, it's me. Hey, not sure what happened. I was talking. I'll call you back. You made my day. It was so great to hear from you, and I do hope we can keep this communication going. I agree. It was nice talking to you. Reconnect and send me your email address. I can't remember. I have a Samsung, so you could trust video, I think. Or send to both emails. Why does she have her finger over it? It should be easy. Plug into, just sent it. Oh, got it. I need a rain check for our call. Understood. I was just thinking that we need to reschedule our talk. Why are you not screenshotting these? Why is this so terrible? Why are you putting your hand in the frame? I'm so mad right now. I was just thinking that we need to reschedule our talk. I know. Wait, why are you not sleeping? Getting ready for work. Oh. Hugs, eat cereal. All very strange. Your superpower is calm. You still make me calm even when I'm around. Even chai is my breakfast. Hugs. Cereal light, especially special KO. Why are we even doing this? Happy New Year. I hope you and your mom and dad are doing well. Seeing the fires, I'm sure the smoke is not doing any good for your dad. But anyway, just give me a hoot, send me a text or let me know you guys are okay. Take care. Hey, Stephen, they are actually in the desert, so they are doing okay. Smoke is bad, but we are all okay. Waiting. Is this from your significant other to some other guy? Some girl? Waiting to hear from my uncle there in the area at the Palisades. Are you watching Gossip Girl because I need a mental break and thinking of you watching Society Ball? Debutante. Oh, choice for a mental break. Are you okay? I'm here if you need to talk to somebody. Oh, yes, I forgot to respond. No worries. I figured we need to catch up. Yes, we do. I'm not seeing any red flags yet. Why do you keep putting your finger in the middle of the screen? Howdy, neighbor. Not one yet. Might be soon. PV takes track and field seriously. What other schools are like them? There's Pennsylvania and PV Chadwick. Miracosta, I like Pedro. These are nothing burgers. Why are you guys considering moving? We are both being considered for position with. What's up? How's the family? Long story, same crap with her from back when you were in Colorado. Now she's not taking her antibiotic. Why'd you stop? I don't know. I'm sorry, that's got to be hard. Being unstable, like she's covered half of the stuff, so I don't know what to do. So stress, either nothing. She's stressed what we all are. I had healthcare myself and finally started my diplomatic training. She's off the charts. What's the stress driving? Almost needed a valve replacement on my heart. Okay, that's just hospital stuff. I'm still not seeing any red flags at all. You need to talk on phone call or text away. I'm not working at the moment, so I've got free time. Let me circle back. Do I need a story for this drink? Why are you running like that? Sorry, there was a deer. I don't understand what the problem is. I've been married to my husband for 22 years. A woman in these texts is an ex-girlfriend of his. He claims they were never officially dating, but I know they were sleeping together because he told me so when we first got together, okay? It's been 22 years. I've never met her and haven't spoken to her. This messages he tells me he was hospitalized for a heart problem implies that I wasn't there for him. The reality is I was there. He was hospitalized because of symptoms that were later determined to be undiagnosed sleep apnea. His heart rate was elevated during hospitalization, but there was never any diagnosis of heart disease, no discussion of heart surgery, and no hardening around the valve. I have all the medical records, tests, and scans and test results. He also tells her I'm bipolar. I was diagnosed a few months after we met, but I've consistently remained under psychiatric care and on medication throughout our marriage. For additional context, my husband has been unemployed since June of 23. During that time, I've become the sole provider and at points worked 2 jobs to support our family. Why doesn't he have a job? He insists it was a simple, innocent conversation between 2 old friends. He also says he was stressed and needed to vent. After these messages, they spent nearly an hour on the phone. She lives on the other side of the country, and so my concern is not they're having a physical affair. My concern is that he's creating a false narrative about our marriage, portraying me as an absent and caring spouse, and then telling me I'm overreacting when I object. Am I overreacting, or would you find this inappropriate and concerning? One detail, only became aware that they were still in contact because I tried to call him regarding one of our children and he didn't answer. When I later reached him and asked why he hadn't picked up, he told me he'd been talking to her. I was surprised because I didn't know they were still in contact. When I asked how they had reconnected and what they had been talking about, he became invasive and wouldn't really answer my questions. That behavior is what initially raised my suspicions and ultimately led me to look more closely at the situation. Um, Reclass says, I feel incredibly drunk reading these texts and I'm sober. Guess I'm not the only one that wasn't making sense to. Embarrassed spells says, try being drunk reading this. Uh, Dan Beachy says, it hurts. I feel sick. Now my daughter's texting me, even though she knows I'm online. The boss number says it's got a lot to read there through, but he sounds like a massive loser, to be honest. I think Stephen might be a fat, useless, manipulative liar who is using his wife as an ATM while he fantasizes about his ex. Doc's on photo 7, by the way, but only his name, so yeah, that's true. Should leave Stephen in there. Mamson says, ma'am, leave him. You've posted that he has untreated schizophrenia. He's super religious. He moved y'all away from everyone. Just go already. Okay, this is background stuff. Yeah, she needs to leave him. Not only does he make you work 2 jobs because he quit his, but then he talks badly about you to other women. OP says 22 years, 8 kids, it's hard to walk away from, but I've already moved out. Thank goodness. That's good. Ginger Snap says, I got 20 and 2 kids and it's not easy, but damn it, it's so much winging better. My kids are late teens and totally supported me leaving their loser dad. There's another life out there. Well, I'm glad she lost him. That's a good update. Next, we have entitled parents. Entitled, my entire family came to the pool just to make sure my boyfriend and I didn't kiss. What? You're 15, you should be kissing. I'm sorry. Quick disclaimer, summary, disclaimer, quick summary. This post is continuation of a situation I posted about previously, but I'm making a separate post because it's a new situation. I'd like advice on this specifically. For anyone who hasn't seen my previous post, here's the short version. I'm 15. I've been dating my boyfriend since April. So it's been several months. A while ago, my parents found out that we shared our first kiss. They were extremely upset and grounded me for 2 weeks. Why? You're 15. I took away my phone and put strict limits on my phone and told me my boyfriend and I would never be alone together again. This is not how you do this, folks. They also accused us of sneaking around. I had shattered their trust and warned me not to be inappropriate with him again. To make matters even more confusing, they never actually told me kissing was against their rules before any of this happened. These sound like horrible parents. Also added this to update to my original post, but I want to make a separate post because what happened next is a different situation that I like opinions on. After I got my phone back, my family invited my boyfriend to go swimming at our community pool. Now, I thought this was odd considering I had just been ungrounded, but I figured maybe things were getting better. I was told I would be swimming with my boyfriend. I was not told that my entire family would also be attending along with 2 of my friends. At the beginning, it was just me, my boyfriend, and my sister in the pool. Then my mom, that seems completely appropriate. I mean, really, she's 15. You invited a boyfriend over. Leave him alone. My mom came over and stood near us for a while. A little later, my cousins arrived. You got cousins involved in this? Holy cow. After that, every time my boyfriend and I were talking, I felt my mom drifting closer to our area of the pool, watching us from nearby. Whether she intended it that way or not, definitely feel like I was under surveillance. Then my 2 friends arrived, and the first thing they said was, why is your whole family here? To which I replied, I honestly have no idea because I didn't. Eventually, my mom, my godmother, and my aunt all got into the pool too. Whenever they ended up close to us, we naturally moved somewhere else just to have a normal conversation. Well, that's going to make you look suspicious, honey. I'm sorry. I mean, they shouldn't be doing that, but it is going to make you look suspicious. Eventually, my mom, at one point, one of my friends mentioned that she's bi. Since my family has very traditional views, I quietly suggested we move further away because I was worried that if they ever had heard, my friends might not let me hang out with her anymore because your parents are horrible. Even after we got out of the pool, I felt like my mom was keeping a close eye on us because she was. She was. She doesn't even want you kissing. It's crazy. On the ride home, my dad, who is admittedly the more relaxed parents, drove my boyfriend home. However, today I learned something from my sister. Apparently, The reason my entire family was invited to the pool in the first place was to make sure my boyfriend and I acted appropriately. What did you think they were going to do? To make matters even better, right before I left to meet him, my mom told me to not be inappropriate with him for the last time. Like the last time. For context, the last time was when we first kissed. Just a kiss. Dum Nom says, and then they're shocked when their friends go no contact. Thiago Pericini says, and if you try to explain why you cut off contact, they still don't understand or accept it. Magdavis is the second top rated comment, and they say, don't share anything about your life. Draw a nice cool line around them and keep them there. If they ever ask, look at them as if they're speaking a different language and telling them that you don't know what they're talking about. Old Soldier Bear says that in my opinion, is perfectly normal and appropriate for 15-year-olds to kiss on their first date. It probably wasn't even their first date, from sounds of it. And I am old enough to be your granny. So am I. Making something totally normal a piece of forbidden fruit makes it even more tempting. Why does your mom think kissing is inappropriate? That's a very strange attitude. OP says, I have no clue. She compared the whole situation to if I went somewhere with my friends and they wanted to talk to me, but I was too busy kissing my boyfriend. That made no sense to me whatsoever. She even told me to treat him like a brother, and she thought I was smart enough not to kiss my boyfriend. Old Soldier Bear says it's actually concerning to mention boyfriend and brother in the same sentence. I mean, to any person with normal boundaries, they are very different. Could you speak to your mom's friends? OP says, actually, I did. 2 days after I was punished, I was allowed to go to my best friend's house because she wasn't the root of the problem. Her mom picked me up, and I was curious about my best friend, why my best friend said I got in trouble. I told her the whole reason, and she said my parents were definitely overreacting. Though she understood a bit why they're so harsh. I'm the oldest, so I guess they don't want to let go yet. But my friend's mom said she wouldn't care if any of her kids kissed their boyfriend or girlfriend. It felt refreshing to talk to a normal person. Their temporary comment is from Mammoth Glove, and they say, oh, look, normal life is a milestone that should be remembered fondly. Better make it into a huge catastrophe that drives a wedge between me and my daughter. OP, does your mom have BPD? Because this screams BPD. I don't think she knows what BPD is, because she's talking about physical problems, not mental issues. My daughter just texted me. I should find out what she wants. She said something about taking the rest of the day off. She's been having exams, so she probably could take the rest of the day off. Next is Oh No Consequences, entitled, I didn't defend my wife being called a bad parent for a decision we both made. Why is she mad at me? Because you made a decision together and then she took all the blame? It's from Am I the A-hole? AITA for not backing my wife up after my brother-in-law called her a bad parent. Yes, because you decided it together. My wife and I are both 41 and I have an 11-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. Our daughter plays travel basketball and our son plays flag football in the spring, which is recreational. My wife is not the parent who organizes our lives around an 8 and 11-year-old sports schedule, and I agree with her on that. We refuse to let youth sports take over our lives, even if vacations and stuff conflict with that. A couple of weeks ago, we were visiting my wife's sister and her husband for Memorial Day. They live a state over, so we left on Sunday. My wife and I and my in-laws were talking, and my brother-in-law asked about our son's sports. At some point, my wife said that we missed our son's practice to come over. My brother-in-law kind of started grilling me. I think it means grilling. It has an O in it. My brother-in-law kind of started grilling me after my wife after saying she does not teach him to be a part of the team, being lazy and being a bad parent. I overheard, but I didn't retort because I didn't see the point. When we were driving home the following day, my wife asked why I didn't back her up. I thought she forgot about that. I tried to reason with her that she knows I agree with her, so I didn't have to play sidekick in that situation. Yes, you do. She's your wife. You should always be a sidekick. She didn't like my reasoning, didn't talk to anyone but the kids for the rest of the car ride, basically pretending I wasn't there. That's weird wording for that. I'm sorry. AITA. Holy crap, you guys. Edit 2. This post is 20 hours old. I'm literally at my hair appointment, and you guys are still on my case. What the wang? You put it out there for all, dude. Sinister says one person going off in the comments about esports as being so important is completely unhinged. OP says there's a couple of them in the comments too. Responsibility and obligation and respect for your team members. Otherwise, you didn't enroll your son in sports. The son plays flag football. It's recreational, not. I mean, son needs to respect that crap. The mom can drop him off. WTF. Do kids really want or need their parents hanging out at sports practices? No. I would think it's a great way for kids to hang out safely without being tailed by a parent. Game days are different, but practices? Somebody said just leave him in practice and pick him up a few days later. Right? Capstar says here for the shade and Freud. Holy crap, you guys. Hobbit Life says, I'm dying. You really went in thinking everyone would agree with him. That's funny if you think that, dude. Slio Fox, Stody Fox says, old Stody Fox says, not only is he being roasted in the comments, but the handful of replies he's offered suggests he's incredibly dense. Light bends around. Oh, I haven't seen any of the comments. Not his way. Holy crap, you guys. If this wasn't obvious. Oh, geez, the guy. I guess he wasn't getting the feedback he needed. Next up, best friend ever updates and is entitled AIO by stepping back from my parents after finding out they plan to leave everything to my older sister. No, absolutely not. Why would they do that? What's the point? Originally posted to Am I Overreacting? I think we better check this and make sure it's not on our list for that sub because nope, it's not on there, so we're good. It didn't make the cut. So cool. June original post June 22nd, 2016. I, 27 female, have an older sister who's 25 female, or 35 female, sorry. 35 is more than 27. 25 is not. Growing up, my parents were always very big on independence and responsibility. They made it clear that once we become adults, we're expected to handle our own lives. I really took that to heart. I worked through college, lived with my roommates, kept my expenses down, and built everything for myself step by step without asking them for help. It was always easy. I'm genuinely proud of where I ended up. I have a stable career now. I'm in a good relationship. For the first time in a long time, my life feels steady. My sister's past have been very different. She's never really been able to get fully settled. She has tried a few different jobs over the years, but nothing has really stuck. There always seems to be some new issue, some reason it didn't work out. My parents have stepped in over and over again, helping her with rent, paying bills when she gets behind, and giving her money to help her make it through the month. For a long time, I told myself it wasn't worth keeping score. I figured maybe it was just how families were supposed to work, helping the person who needed it more. But a few days ago, when we all got together this summer, they brought up something that really threw me off. My parents asked to speak to both of us about their future plans. They're getting older and their health hasn't been great. So they started putting things in order legally. During that conversation, they told us that most of what they have, including the house and their savings, will go to my sister. That's rude. Mine, our money is split 3 ways evenly. During that conversation, they told us that The reasoning was that she won't be able to manage on her own without that support. You give her all this money, she's not going to be able to manage it at all. She will be destitute in a year. Then almost immediately after saying that, they told me that they want me to be the one handling everything else, medical decisions, finances, paperwork, basically making sure everything is taken care of if something happens to them. Talk about adding insult to injury. I don't think I've ever felt that kind of quiet resentment before. It wasn't really about the money. It was the feeling that I've spent my whole adult life proving that I can stand on my own, and somehow that has been turned into me being expected to carry everyone else too. I tried to explain how hurtful that felt, but they kept telling me I should be more understanding. No, you shouldn't. That's BS, man. Since something in me has shifted, I don't call as often. I don't jump in to help the way I used to. My dad asked me to come over and help sort through some documents last week. I told him I couldn't, and that maybe my sister should be taking some responsibility. That didn't go over well. My sister called me afterward, sounding uncomfortable, apologizing, even though none of this is really her fault. I told her I wasn't really angry at her. I was hurt by the way that our parents are treating us differently. Now everything feels tense, and every interaction feels careful and strained. I feel guilty abandoning them, but it's unfair. I take all the responsibility while my sister gets all this support. AIO. No, not at all. Editors know OOP did not leave any comments on this original post. Commenter, nor if they are leaving everything to her, then editor's notes sister, needs to step up and do the hard part, because trust me, when I say trying to take care of aging parents, it's hard. 100%. Commenter 2, they will give everything to older sis, who will piss it away and still expect little sister to help her out in the mess. Everything should go into a trust, and OP should be the responsible party. 100%. And they should split evenly. Commenter 3, decline to be POA, being designated as durable medical power of attorney, etc. If they still name you as executor of their will, you do not have to accept. Say no. Maybe they need to sit down with a lawyer and a financial advisor and set up a legal trust for your sister, so you don't need to be involved at all. You have every right to feel like you do. Yes, you have a right to feel your feels. Commenter 4, nor. OP, they're telling you that you should do all the work and then let your sister take all the money and property. And that's won't be the end of it. I bet you'll have to help your sister when she blows through the money and can't afford the house. OP, I would go no contact. If the sister is getting the bulk of the inheritance, she needs to do the work and step up. I think it's imperative that you take a step back. Your parents created a monster, not really capable of surviving on their own, and they're setting you up to be her parent once they're gone. Update, June 23rd, 2026, the next day. So after reading through the advice and messages, I realized the sooner I stepped back from the situation, the better it would be for me. I called my parents today and I tried to explain how I felt. Part of me still hoped they might understand, even though I knew they probably wouldn't. I gave specific examples of how I've supported myself since college and never asked them for financial help, while they've consistently stepped in for my sister while she struggled. I brought up the estate conversation too. It hurt to hear that most of what they have will go to her because she needs it more. I don't like that. My husband likes to do that, and I'm like, no, things have to be equal. Nobody needs it more. If they need it more, it's because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Well, I'm expected to take on all the responsibility, medical decision, finances, paperwork when things get difficult. It made me feel like my role in the family is based on what I can handle, not how I'm valued as their child. They didn't really let me finish. They kept interrupting and repeating that I'm the independent and capable, and that my sister isn't, and so this is how it has to be. That's so unfair. When I said I felt unfair, they got defensive and told me not to expect anything from them. At one point, I said that you're not giving her anything anyway, so. At one point, they even said if I truly cared, I would be more than willing to help with my mom's care. That was a point where something clicked in me. Being capable doesn't mean I don't have limits, and it doesn't mean I should carry everything. I told them I couldn't accept a situation where I'm excluded from support, but expected to take on all the responsibility. Good for you. Good for you standing up for yourself. They said I said they should completely remove me from their will and any roles like executor or medical power of attorney. I said I don't want anything from them financially or otherwise. I also told them they should plan accordingly whether that means hiring help or making other arrangements because I'm no longer willing to take that on. The call ended badly. There was a lot of yelling and crying, and I eventually hung up. But afterward, I felt something I hadn't felt in a while, relief. Like a weight I didn't fully realize I was carrying was finally gone. I have a good life. I have a supportive partner, a stable home. I'm preparing to start my PhD. We're even talking about starting a family. For the first time, I can focus on my own future without this constant sense of obligation hanging over me. I didn't know what happens with my parents. I'm pretty sure things will stay tense for a while. But for now, I feel at peace with the boundary I set. They deleted their account. Mordex Tenebrae says, makes me think that staying along the lines of congrats, the reward for you doing the hard work is even more work. Yes, exactly. Smurf Girl says, I winging love this for her. Her parents are going to realize too late that they should have parented both kids. Roadhouse says, I despise her parents. I do too. They're awful. 100% awful. Tay Bear says, punishing your kid for having their life together. Yeah, good on OP for stepping back. Monty Barton says, my in-laws do this. It's so hard to watch it play out. I bet. All right, we need some brain candy after that. And this is entitled A Little Kindness Goes a Long Way. Let's try it. Someone please give me a drink. The water does not look clean. Oh, so sweet. What a nice guy. That's a good guy. Some girl needs to scoop him up. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. I love it so much. That's how you're supposed to act, people. Take notes. Take some notes. All right, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna go see what my daughter wants. I gotta go grocery shopping. My husband's not gonna be home till maybe 10 o'clock tonight. Well, maybe I'll be on later, but I doubt it. Maybe I won't. I probably won't because I gotta go grocery shopping. That will wear me out. I'll be super tired. Super tired. All right, love you, biddies. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day. Love you all. Bye. Bye.